After 10 years, she discovered her late husband's hidden ranch. What she found was incredible. Emma's heart pounded as she dug through the old boxes in her garage, each one a portal to a memory of her husband. The musty smell of damp cardboard filled the air, whispering tales of the past. Suddenly, she stumbled upon his old map, its edges worn and fragile like a long-held secret. As she unfolded it carefully, her breath caught in her throat. There, marked in faded ink, was the location of his hidden ranch. A piece of land he had purchased years before their children were born, cloaked in the mists of forgotten dreams. The flutter of hope in Emma's chest surged. This could be their salvation, a chance to create something beautiful, to keep her husband's spirit alive. For 10 years, she knighted herself as a warrior against grief, raising Jacob and Lily with all the strength she could muster. She wanted them to know their father not just in stories, but through the legacy he had left behind. With each day's struggle, the townsfolk's whispers echoed around her. They didn't believe she could manage it. A single mother, they said, couldn't tackle a ranch, especially not with the burden of 2 kids. But deep down, Emma knew that her husband's dreams thrived in their memories. She was ready to face the skepticism and turn this land into their haven. Driving down the dusty road toward the ranch, her heart danced with anticipation and fear. This was her moment, her chance. But as she pulled up, the enchantment of discovery turned to despair. The land, once a vision of her husband's dreams, lay in ruins. Weeds choked the earth, and the house crumbled under the weight of neglect. Each daunting view felt like a punch to her gut. Still, could she really reclaim this place? With determination igniting her spirit, Emma set to work. The first few days were tough, but she pushed through, her children helping where they could. The laughter of Jacob and Lily mixed with the sound of rustling leaves as they pulled weeds and gathered debris. As they labored, Emma noticed others wandering closer, neighbors she had hardly spoken to over the years. "Hey, need a hand?" called a voice from the shadows, a brown-eyed woman who had always looked at her with unspoken judgment. In a heartbeat, a small community formed, made up of those who felt overlooked, invisible. They lifted her up with their stories of struggle, their dreams dashed and reshaped in the storm of life. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. But just as the sun began to break through the clouds, a storm loomed on the horizon, dark and menacing. Raindrops fell like stones, battering the vulnerable remnants of the ranch. Emma's heart raced as she stood on the threshold, torn between the hope she had nurtured and the fear of losing it all. What if the ranch, and all that it symbolized for her children, slipped through her fingers like sand? Would she have the strength to rise above the crashing waves of doubt? The answer seemed to hover just out of reach, leaving Emma breathless, standing amidst the storm, both the one outside and the tumult within her soul. What would become of her family's dreams now? Emma stood there, the wind whipping her hair around her face as the rain poured down like a relentless curtain. The sky darkened, but in her heart, a flicker of determination flickered amid the chaos. Above the sound of the storm, she heard her children's voices. Jacob was laughing, and Lily was singing tunelessly, both huddled under an old oak tree, pretending it was a shelter against the downpour. Their innocence grounded her. If she let this ranch go, she wouldn't just be losing a piece of her husband. She would be robbing Jacob and Lily of an experience and adventure that had the potential to transform their grief into something beautiful. "Let us go," Emma shouted over the howling wind. Water dripped off her chin as she ran toward her kids. She gathered them under her arms, feeling their warmth against the chill. "We can't let a little rain stop us. We're going to make this place shine." With effort, their laughter cut through the storm's rage, and Emma felt her spirit lift. Together, they ran back into the house, grateful for its roof, however cracked and splintered. Inside, the walls felt like they were alive with memories, remnants of happier times sinning from long ago. The rain drove her to gather supplies. Old paint cans, Brushes and tattered tarps became their weapons against the elements. Grab whatever you can find. We're turning this storm into inspiration. Emma encouraged them, and their excitement was palpable. Hours passed, the rain relentless, yet they transformed the cluttered garage into a makeshift command center. Jacob and Lily worked side by side, sharing stories about their dad, laughter rising like steam from sizzling hot chocolate cans. In every brushstroke of worn paint, Emma felt layers of despair melt away. As dusk settled and the rain finally let up, a slice of light peeked through the clouds, casting a gentle glow over the ranch. Emma stepped back to assess their progress, her heart swelling with pride. Amid discarded tools and half-finished projects, the roots of hope were being sown. The house might not be intact, and the land would need years of love, but together, they had begun to reclaim their family's dream. But as the light dimmed, a realization began to gnaw at her. With each passing day, they were drawing nearer to winter. And winter at the ranch wouldn't just mean cold winds and dark nights. With the home's neglect came the fear of losing it all to the elements, the crumbling foundation, the leaky roof. The pressure mounted, and doubt stirred once more, wrapping around her heart like creeping vines. Just as she was about to voice her concerns, a figure appeared at the entrance, framed by the fading light. It was the brown-eyed woman from earlier, accompanied by several neighbors, all carrying tools and filled with purpose. "We're here to help," the woman called out, her voice firm and warm against the evening air. Emma felt a rush of gratitude, but also a pang of doubt. Could she really lean on others after years of solitude? As the community poured in, she stood, caught between the comfort of assistance and her fear of vulnerability. Did she dare share her struggles with them? "Everything's still a mess," she said hesitantly, her voice wavering. "But you started something beautiful," the woman said softly, meeting Emma's gaze. "And beautiful things need hands to help them grow." Emma's heart raced as she looked around. Her neighbors who were once strangers stood ready to lift her burden. Could this be the community she had longed for? Could these hands help her family reclaim their dream too? With the warmth of their presence around her, she felt a flicker of hope build once more. But what if accepting their help meant exposing her vulnerabilities? What if sharing her dreams led to them being shattered again? With a deep breath, she stepped forward. "Then let us build something incredible together." As the evening stars emerged, a new chapter awaited, and Emma knew this was just the beginning. Would she embrace this new beginning, or would fear hold her back, just as the storm had? The moment Emma stepped forward, she felt an unfamiliar rush of energy coursing through her veins. There was something intoxicating about the offer of help. Clutching her children tightly, she marveled at the community gathered in her yard, their faces illuminated by the dying light. Encouragement flowed from each person, filling the gaps of doubt that had lingered in her heart. "All right then, let's get started," Emma called, her voice ringing with a newfound resolve. She grabbed a paintbrush, as vibrant as the setting sun, and beckoned her children to join her. "We can mix colors. There's no such thing as a mistake when we're creating together." As the neighbors set to work, Emma felt a weight lift from her shoulders. Conversations buzzed around her about childhood memories and small-town gatherings. Laughter floated on the night air. Despite the chaos of her life, she found comfort in this connection, people who were sharing not just the burden of her lost home, but also the spark of a hopeful future. Jacob enthusiastically squirmed through the crowd, holding a paint palette with splatters of color streaked across it. "Mom, look," he shouted, excitement lighting up his small face. "I want to paint a sun right here." He pointed to a faded canvas on the wall of the barn that desperately needed a splash of life. "Then let us do it." Emma smiled, motivated not just by her son's enthusiasm, but by the sight of neighbors jumping into action, ladders propped against the barn, tools in hand, a team, all united by purpose. Lily, not wanting to be outdone, grabbed some brushes and raced to her mother's side. "Can we do some flowers, too? Like the ones Dad used to plant?" "Yes, sweetheart. We'll create a garden of memories together." Emma's heart swelled as they all got to work, the fading sunlight casting long shadows and bringing warmth back to the land. Each stroke on the barn was like a hug softening the edges of a difficult past. Rachel, the brown-eyed woman, was nearby, giving clear instructions to a couple of men who were checking the roof for leaks and shoring up the damaged gutters. Look over here. Rachel called, waving Emma over. We found some old shingles in the shed. I think they might still be good. With a little help, we can fix this roof. Emma's breath hitched, her heart raced with anxiety and relief. It wasn't just the ranch they were salvaging. Nightmares of winter storms and leaks began to drift away, replaced by a sense of hope that seemed almost tangible. Hours passed, and as dusk fell, the ranch transformed. Walls were brightening with color, laughter echoing, and in that moment, everything felt possible. Emma stepped back and surveyed their progress. Every brushstroke encapsulated resilience. Every laugh contained hope. Then came a quiet moment, a pause amid the busyness. Emma looked to Jacob and Lily, their faces smeared with paint and smiles brighter than the paints they held. Could this be the essence of healing? An elderly neighbor approached her, awkwardly shifting a tool belt around his waist. You've got a good crew here, Emma. They're proud to be here for you. His tone was gentle, understanding. You're not alone anymore. His words resonated deep, but the echoes of grief still had their claws in her. How could she afford to step back and share her vulnerability? Would revealing her struggles diminish their drive? But then she thought about Jacob and Lily. Their lives deserved the vibrancy reflected in their paintings and the comfort of shared burdens. Emma inhaled deeply. This is just the beginning, isn't it? She whispered. Absolutely, Rachel replied, tilting her head knowingly. This ranch has decades of stories waiting to be uncovered. But it takes a village to tell them. Just then, a sudden gust of wind howled through the yard, throwing everyone into a moment of silence, anticipation hanging heavy in the air. Emma looked up at the stars beginning to reveal themselves. Would she find the courage to continue embracing this support? Or would those unshakable fears keep her shackled? And then she realized, within this darkness, there lay a promise of light. What lay ahead could either be a beautiful transformation or a heartbreaking struggle only time would tell. Emma's decision loomed closer, and with it, the potential for a future she could only dare to imagine. As the stars began to twinkle, their light spilling over the barn, Emma felt the cool breeze play through her hair. It was a welcome change after the heated chaos of the day. The atmosphere buzzed with excitement and determination. She watched her children, their faces lit up with joy and paint, and knew something had shifted within her. This was no longer just a project to fix what was broken. It was a celebration of healing. Ready to paint that, son, Jacob? She asked, walking over to him, paintbrush in hand. Ready, he shouted, bouncing on his toes. Emma knelt beside him, feeling the warmth radiate from his small body as he pointed eagerly at the spot he wanted. Let us start with yellow, she suggested. As they mixed colors, their laughter blended with that of their neighbors, creating a symphony of shared hope that filled the evening air. Lily joined them, a handful of purple paint smeared across her cheek. Mom, I want to make butterflies, she declared, her eyes sparkling. Perfect. Butterflies it is, Emma said, feeling a renewed strength flow through her. Together, they painted carefree shapes onto the barn, each stroke a testament to their resilience and their deepening bond. As more people continued to arrive, their joy became infectious, lifting Emma higher. But beneath her rising spirit, doubt lingered like an uninvited guest. What if this feeling of hope was fleeting? What if tomorrow brought the weight of reality crashing back down? Lost in thought, she was suddenly brought back by Rachel's vibrant voice nearby. Hey, Emma, Rachel called, her arm gesturing to a small, rusty sign hanging above the barn door. Don't you think we should spruce up the entrance, too? Emma's heart tugged at the idea of creating something beautiful right there, a platform that welcomed all who entered. Let us do it, she agreed, her resolve hardening with each passing moment. They gathered supplies, brushes, and additional paint, the lively chatter never ending. Yet, in the bustle, Emma spotted an older woman lingering at the edge of the crowd. The woman held a big smile, but her eyes seemed clouded with memories of her own. Emma sensed a story, a history waiting to be shared, perhaps a hidden connection. Are you all right? Emma approached her gently, feeling the weight of unasked questions. I've been watching you all. It's good to see the spirit of this place come alive again, the woman replied softly. My husband helped build these barns years ago. We created so many memories here. Emma's heart thudded. This barn was not just a structure. It was a repository of past stories and present dreams. That's incredible. We're trying to build new ones, she said, her pulse quickening with inspiration. Let me tell you about some of those days. As the woman spoke, Emma listened intently, absorbing her words like rays of sun. Each reflection pulled Emma closer to her own grief, reminding her of moments she had buried deep. But it was also a reminder of resilience. Stories of love, laughter, hardships, and triumphs echoed in her heart, encouraging her to weave her own story into this tapestry of life. When the woman finished, Emma could feel her heart swell. Thank you for sharing that with me. It means much more than you know, Emma said, her voice thick with emotion. Just remember, this place has seen storms before, and it's still standing, the woman replied, her eyes warm. You're creating something new, and that spirit will carry on. The sky above began to deepen into a canvas of night, sprinkled with stars brighter than before. Emma gazed up for a moment, embracing the connection she felt to the land and the people gathered around her. In this moment, she finally understood the ranch wasn't just about walls or roofs. It was about the lives intertwined within it. Guys, she called out, a surge of excitement bubbling within her as she looked around. Let us make this the best entrance anyone's ever seen. Cheers erupted, and Emma joined in the laughter, her fears momentarily dimming. But as they breathed life into the barn, Emma's heart still sensed a shadow. Lurking close by, something mysterious waited in the corners, a part of the ranch that had yet to unveil itself. With every brushstroke, she could feel it calling her. What truths were hidden beyond that door? The promise of discovery hung in the air, teasing her with the thought, what more could she find? And with that nagging question echoed through her mind, she knew the night had only just begun. With the laughter fading around her, Emma felt the brush in her hand grow heavy. She cast a glance at the entrance to the barn, the door slightly ajar, beckoning her like a secret waiting to be unveiled. What's behind there? She whispered to herself, curiosity flaring in her chest. Mom, can you help me with this butterfly? Lily's voice twinkled through the air, pulling her back. Emma turned to see her daughter bouncing eagerly, paintbrush sloshing in purple. Of course, she moved back to her little artist, but the barn door was still in her mind. While they painted, her thoughts drifted. A part of her longed to explore the mysteries hidden inside, a tribute to the past that still echoed around them. As light faded, the glow of fairy lights strung around the barn began to flicker on, transforming the space into a scene right out of storybooks. Love and laughter filled the gaps where silence had once lingered. Yet, that lingering question refused to leave Emma. What was truly waiting behind that door? Hey, Emma, Rachel said, nudging her shoulder. You all right? You seem a little distant. Just thinking, Emma replied, shaking her head to clear the cobwebs. I can't shake the feeling that there's more to this place than we know. Rachel smiled softly, her eyes glancing sideways at the old barn door. Sometimes, what's hidden away holds the most magic. Emma nodded, her heart racing. Was it possible that something beautiful lay tucked away, just waiting for her to rediscover it? As they finished up their work on the entrance, a comforting warmth settled around them. People exchanged stories, laughter ringing out into the night, fostering a sense of family. And yet, Emma found herself caught between the joy of the moment and the pull towards that secret. All right, team, time for a break, she finally announced, wiping the paint off her hands. Let us grab some lemonade and enjoy this beautiful night. The group cheered, but just as they turned, an unexpected clap of thunder rumbled in the distance. Emma's heart jumped, but it wasn't fear, it was excitement. There was a storm coming, but not just in the sky. It felt like something was about to change. Mom, can we check out the barn after? Jacob asked, his innocent hope driving straight to her heart. Emma hesitated. Did she want to dive into the unknown just yet? But that question still flickered in her mind. We can take a peek, she finally said, the thrill of adventure igniting her spirit. Holding her children's hands, they made their way toward the barn. The faint glow from the lanterns danced against the darkened wood like shadows in a dream. Emma felt a tingle of uncertainty mixed with anticipation. Pushing the door open, it creaked softly, revealing a dusty space layered with memories. The air held the faint scent of hay and aged wood. The corners were cloaked in darkness, but there were hints of something sparkling under the dust. A stack of old boxes piled near what looked like a forgotten workspace. Wow, Lily exclaimed, her voice echoing in the silence. Look at all the stuff. Emma's heart raced. Each box was a potential treasure. She stepped inside, a curious mix of nostalgia and excitement swirling within her. Let us see what we can find, Jacob said, moving to a box that seemed less time-worn. Emma followed, feeling the energy crackle around them. As her fingers brushed over the box's surface, warmth flooded her. Whispers of the past propelled her onward. But just as she began to lift the lid, a loud crash rang out from behind them, startling everyone. Instant adrenaline surged through her veins. What was that? Rachel shouted, rushing in after them. Emma froze at the sound, her heart hammering louder than before. What secrets were hidden in this barn, and now what dangers awaited them? She couldn't shake the feeling that they had just cracked open a door leading to something much deeper than paint and memories. Emma turned to the others, the weight of the moment pressing heavily on her. They were about to embark on a journey that would redefine everything. What awaited them just past that threshold? The crash echoed in the barn, reverberating off the wooden walls and shattering the moment's calm. Emma's heart raced, thudding loudly in her chest like a war drum, as she spun around to see what had caused it. The lanterns flickered, their light casting long shadows that danced unpredictably across the floor. "Hello?" Rachel called, her voice steady yet laced with concern. The children clung to Emma's sides, wide-eyed with curiosity and a hint of fear. "Maybe it was just a branch or something," Jacob whispered, though his gaze betrayed his uncertainty. Emma took a deep breath, trying to calm her nerves. "Let us see what it was." She braced herself and stepped further into the barn, the scent of aged wood mingling with anxiety in the air. Every creak of the floorboards beneath her feet now felt loaded with secrets. As they approached the source of the noise, they spotted a large wooden crate that had toppled to the side, its contents scattered across the floor. Piles of yellowed papers, old tools, and what looked like the remnants of a life long forgotten lay in disarray. "Can we help?" Lily asked, stepping forward, her initial scare fading as bravery took hold. "Sure," Emma said, her heart still pounding, though now with a sense of purpose. If there was something to uncover here, they were all in this together. "Let us see what's inside." They began to gather the fallen items, brushing off dust and dirt. Emma picked up a tool, its handle warm to the touch, and wondered who had last used it. It felt like a piece of her husband, a fragment of the man she lost, but still carried in her heart. "What's that?" Jacob shouted excitedly, pointing to a stack of papers. Emma knelt beside him, and they carefully unfolded the first page. It was an old map, its edges frayed and brittle, marked with symbols and notes in a handwriting that struck a chord within her. Her breath caught as memories surged forward. Her husband, with his wild ideas and adventurous spirit. He had always talked about these lands. "Look at this," Jacob said, and Emma's eyes followed his finger. "It's showing a trail, and there's a family symbol here." "What family symbol?" Rachel asked, joining them. "It looks like a crest," Emma murmured. Her heart raced. This wasn't just a map. It was part of a story waiting to be told, the story of her family she thought had been lost forever. But just as they began to absorb this revelation, another loud bang echoed nearby, making them jump. A cloud of dust fell from the overhead beams, and Emma's heart raced again. "Did you hear that?" Lily asked, her voice trembling. "Yes, but let us not get scared," Emma urged. "This barn has always been a part of our family. I promise to keep you safe." But as Emma spoke, a chill swept through the room, twisting the tension around them. Her instincts urged her to turn and face whatever was lurking in the shadows. "We should finish looking through these things," Rachel suggested, but the way she said it felt more like a plea than a statement. Emma eyed her friend, acknowledging the shared fear. "Okay," Emma said, her voice steadier than she felt. "We'll stick together. We'll find out what's going on." They turned back to the scattered items, curiosity wrestling with fear as the barn held its breath, secrets hiding just out of sight. What awaited them in the darkness? What hidden treasures or past mysteries still lingered here, yearning to be unearthed? Emma could feel the weight of those questions pressing down on her, carrying the promise of discovery. And just then, as she reached for another item, something caught her eye beneath the hay. A more significant piece, perhaps something that could change everything she thought she knew about her husband in this place. What if the surprises went far beyond her imagination? Emma's fingers brushed against something cold and metallic. Heart pounding, she cleared the hay away to reveal an old lockbox, ornately designed yet covered in dust. The latch was rusted, almost as if it hadn't been touched in decades. She held her breath, glancing back at the kids. Their eyes sparkled with a mix of excitement and trepidation, the moment suspended in time. "Should we open it?" Jacob asked, his voice barely a whisper. "Yes," Emma said, determination warming her voice. "But carefully." Rachel moved to her side, kneeling close. "Do you think there are valuables inside?" She wondered aloud. "Valuables or memories, maybe both," Emma replied, feeling the pulse of nostalgia wash over her. There was a heaviness in the air, yet a flicker of hope ignited deep within her. This box could hold pieces of John, a part of her present connected to a past she clung to. With Rachel's help, Emma jiggled the latch. It creaked, protesting against the years of neglect. At last, it gave way with a soft click. Emma lifted the lid slowly, almost as if unveiling a sacred treasure. Inside lay a handful of yellowing envelopes tied together with a fraying ribbon, alongside a small leather-bound journal. Emma's breath hitched. The sight of her husband's handwriting had the power to bring a flood of both joy and sorrow all at once. "Emma?" Rachel nudged her gently. "Are you okay?" "Just give me a moment," Emma replied, her fingers trembling as she reached for the journal. She opened it, flipping through the pages filled with doodles, farm plans, and family sketches. Each page told a story that had remained untouched, a window into John's thoughts that she had longed to revisit. "Can I see?" Jacob asked, leaning forward with innocent curiosity. "Of course," she said, passing the book to him. As he examined the drawings, Emma's gaze drifted back to the envelopes. They were sealed with red wax bearing the same family crest found on the map. The sight stirred something within her, an urgency that blended with anxious anticipation. "Emma, look!" Jacob exclaimed, turning the journal toward her. There was a sketch of their home, but deeper in the margins was a drawing of a hidden path leading to a section of woods she'd never explored before. "Wait," Emma said, her heart racing. "This was never here. Was he planning something? Like a treasure hunt?" Lily chimed in, her eyes wide with excitement. "Maybe," Emma breathed, standing abruptly. "But what if it's more than that? What if it leads to something important?" Just then, another thudding noise rang out, louder this time, vibrating through the barn walls. The lanterns swayed ominously, and shadows stretched with every flicker of the light. "What was that?" Rachel asked, her face paling. Emma stared into the dark corners of the barn, the air thick with some unknown tension. "I don't know." A moment of silence lay between them, filled only by the sounds of their quickening breaths. Emma felt the urge to flee, but the pull of the journal and the envelope was stronger. She couldn't shake the feeling that whatever was hidden in the woods was directly tied to the mystery of her past and the life John had lived. "Let us go outside," Emma said resolutely, trying to quell the fear bubbling in her stomach. "We need to see what's out there." As they stepped toward the barn door, every nerve tingled with a mix of fear and excitement. What secrets lay in the woods? What had John hidden all those years ago? Emma felt that whatever was beyond that threshold could reshape everything she thought she knew about her family and about her late husband. And as she pushed open the doors, ready to uncover whatever lay ahead, a resounding creak echoed from deep within the barn, as if it too was urging her not to turn back. What awaited her in that forest might bring clarity, or perhaps a truth she had never anticipated. The sunlight spilled into the barn, chasing away the shadows as Emma stepped out into the cool, fresh air. The kids followed closely, their wide eyes mirroring her own mix of eagerness and apprehension. The woods loomed ahead, dense and inviting, with twisting paths that seemed to call out to them. "Look," Emma said, pointing to the underbrush, where small wildflowers sprinkled the ground, stubbornly blooming despite the neglect. There could be a million stories hidden in there. Rachel, full of uncontainable curiosity, grinned. "Let's find out." As they crossed the threshold of the woods, Emma marveled at how the light dimmed, filtered through the thick canopy of leaves. The air was rich with the scent of earth and pine, and distant birdsong echoed, choirs celebrating their newfound adventure. Yet, there was an underlying tension that wrapped around her. Emma's heart raced with each step deeper into the trees, connecting the present to a past she barely recognized. Where do we start? Jacob asked, clutching the journal tightly as if it were a precious relic. Emma squinted at the book, tracing her fingers over John's sketches. The path here leads toward that clearing, she said, pointing toward a shape barely visible through the tangle of branches and vines. They moved forward cautiously, the clicking sounds of their footfalls mingling with the rustle of the wind through the trees. With every glance at the journal, Emma felt the weight of her husband's thoughts pressing down on her. What had he wanted her to find? Why had he felt the need to keep it hidden? As they reached the clearing, her breath hitched. Before them lay a small, forgotten garden, its edges tangled with weeds, but the heart of it was wild and vibrant. Sunlight poured over the scene, revealing an array of wild flowers that painted the ground in stubborn color. In the center, something glimmered as stone. "Wow," Rachel whispered, stepping farther into the clearing, mesmerized by the unexpected beauty. Emma approached the stone, curiosity entwined with a pinch of fear. It was engraved with the same family crest as the envelopes. Kneeling beside it, she felt her pulse quickening. What was this monument? Suddenly, a chill swept through the clearing, sending a shiver up her spine. The air had thickened. "Do you feel that?" Emma murmured, glancing at the kids, who were now eyeing her, wide-eyed. "Yeah," Jacob said, taking a cautious step back. "It's weird." Emma reached for the stone, her fingers brushing against its cool surface. As they made contact, a rush of emotion surged within her. Visions of John flared in her mind, memories entwined with warmth and laughter. This could be his message, an unfinished chapter that demanded to be uncovered. "Emma." Rachel's voice cut through her reverie. "Look at the ground." Emma followed her gaze, heart racing. The earth was freshly disturbed, as if something had been unearthed. She swallowed hard, pulse quickening. Whatever lay beneath the surface felt like a ghost yearning to be acknowledged. "We need to dig," Emma said, her voice trembling slightly. The urge to reveal what was hidden beneath the soil consumed her. The kids nodded, excitement overshadowing their initial fear. They worked together, hands in the dirt, pulling away the layers of neglect. Each handful of soil revealed a glimmer of something metallic, colorful. As Emma dug deeper, anticipation swelled in her chest. But just as she was about to uncover whatever had been buried there, a sudden snap of twigs echoed behind them, pulling her focus. She turned sharply, adrenaline pumping at the unexpected sound. What lurked in the shadows of the woods? Something had changed. The thrill of discovery was now intertwined with an unshakable sense of foreboding. What or who awaited them in this hidden garden? Would it lead to the answers Emma sought, or draw them into corners of the past she'd never anticipated? Emma's heart raced as she scanned the woods, searching for the source of that snap. The children fell silent, their excitement replaced with a palpable tension that hung in the air. It felt like the forest itself was holding its breath, waiting for something to happen. "Maybe it's just a deer," Jacob suggested, trying to reassure them, but lacking conviction in his own words. "Or maybe it's something else," Rachel whispered, clutching her brother's arm. Emma shook off the creeping fear. She had come to find answers, to unravel the mystery of her husband's past, not to let a noise scare her away. "Let us keep going," she said, forcing a smile. "Whatever it is, we can handle it together." When they returned to digging, the dirt crumbled beneath their fingers. Each scoop seemed to echo a palpable longing, as if they were reaching for something that was more than just physical. Emma's anticipation surged with every handful. Just as she cleared a larger chunk of soil, her fingers brushed against something hard and cold. She paused, heart thumping in her chest. "I think I found something," she breathed, her voice barely above a whisper. "What is it?" Rachel leaned closer, her wide eyes reflecting Emma's focused determination. Emma pulled at the object, her fingers wrapping around it. Slowly, she unearthed a small, intricately decorated wooden box. The carvings around the edge were worn but beautiful, swirling patterns that seemed to tell stories of their own. She could feel its weight, not just in her hands but in her chest, like the box itself held secrets waiting to be released. With trembling fingers, she opened the lid. Inside, a collection of faded letters, tied with a ribbon, rested delicately. Each envelope bore the familiar crest, a symbol of a life she half remembered. Emma glanced at Jacob and Rachel, who were leaning closer. Curiosity etched into their features. She had never seen those letters before, nor had John ever mentioned them. "What do they say?" Jacob asked, voice crackling with curiosity. "I don't know yet," Emma murmured, her heart fluttering. She carefully unwrapped the ribbon and pulled out one of the letters. It was yellowed with age, delicate as a whisper in her hand. As she began to unfold the first letter, a sudden rustling in the bushes behind them made her jump. A figure stepped out from the trees, their outline cloaked in shadows. Emma's stomach dropped as she realized it wasn't just her imagination. The looming figure was tall and broad, wearing a wide-brimmed hat that obscured their face. "Who is there?" she called, voice steadied by a sudden burst of defiance. The figure froze, and for a moment, the world felt suspended. "Just passing through," a deep voice replied, tinged with surprise. Emma's instincts kicked in. She stepped protectively in front of the children, a surge of motherly courage flowing through her. "Stay behind me," she commanded, eyes fixed on the stranger. "What do you want?" "I didn't mean to startle you," the figure said, taking a cautious step forward, the sun illuminating his face just enough for Emma to recognize the sharp lines of a familiar profile. "Henry?" The name slipped from her lips in disbelief. It was an echo from her past, a friend from John's youth, a connection she believed lost forever. "Emma," he said slowly, seemingly as surprised as she was. And then, that shadow of a smile. "You shouldn't be here. Not alone, at least." The tension shifted, curiosity igniting like a spark. Emma's heart raced. What did he mean? What secrets had he kept? The garden pulsed with unanswered questions and buried stories. Emma felt the thrill of discovery once more, intertwined with an eerie tension. What did Henry know? Could he be the key to unlocking the mysteries surrounding John's life? Emma's heart pounded wildly, conflicting emotions swirling within her as she faced Henry. Memories flickered in her mind, happy summer days filled with laughter, late-night conversations with John about dreams and the future. Now, those fleeting moments stood against the backdrop of her present uncertainties. "Henry?" she repeated, her voice steadier this time. "What are you doing here?" He stepped closer, his hands raised in a gesture of peace. "I was exploring the land on behalf of the family, trying to piece together John's past. I didn't expect to find you here." "John's past?" Her voice grew sharp, embers of hurt sparking with each emphasis. "What do you know about his secret?" Henry shifted his weight, taking a deep breath. "There are things I never had the courage to tell him, and things he carried alone. To create something beautiful, sometimes you have to face the storm." Emma glanced over at Jacob and Lily, who remained wide-eyed, caught in the shifting tide of adult emotions. "Mom?" Jacob asked softly. "What is going on?" She stepped back, taking a breath to recompose, grounding herself in the moment. "It's okay, love. Just a conversation." Turning back to Henry, Emma softened, driven by a shared sense of loss between them. "You knew him better than most. What else did he hide?" "He always had dreams beyond this ranch," Henry said, searching her eyes for understanding. "He wanted to leave a legacy for you and the kids. Something he believed could help guide you through the darkest days." Emma's chest tightened. Was there still hope in saving what remained of their dreams? "How do we find it?" Henry pointed to the wooden box on the ground, its letters glimmering in the sunlight. "Those letters will tell you what you need to know. John left his thoughts, dreams, and plans in them. You can bring those dreams to life." With shaking hands, Emma grabbed the box, feeling every ounce of history in it. She opened the first letter, her heart racing as her husband's familiar handwriting filled the air, each word a reminder of his enduring spirit. "I want you all to know how much you mean to me," she read aloud, tears streaming down her cheeks. "This ranch was meant to be our family's refuge, but it became so much more. I want you to thrive here, even when I'm gone." She glanced up, her face a mix of joy and sorrow, and found Jacob and Lily beaming brightly at her. The weight of grief began to lighten as she spoke the words aloud, sharing those sacred moments with them. "Listen to this. Follow the path in our heart that leads to joy, because together we can paint a brighter future." Emma's voice wavered, awash with emotion. As she read on, Henry kept close, his expression one of reverence. Each letter was filled with plans for a community garden, a place of gathering, a memorial, a testament to the love John had crafted with every stroke of his pen. With each revelation, Emma felt a wave of resolve wash over her. The shadows that had haunted her began to withdraw as thoughts of community and connection emerged. This ranch isn't just about the past, she declared, looking at Henry. It's about our future. It's about family, connection, and healing. Behind her, the sun dipped lower, casting golden rays onto the neglected land, the land that was beginning to awaken. The laughter of children echoed through the woods, drawing attention to the beauty that had waited for someone to care. Henry took a step forward, a smile slowly breaking through. We can build that community together, Emma, he said passionately. But it'll take all of us. We can invite the neighbors to help, share these letters, and inspire everyone to reclaim the dreams. Emma nodded vigorously, excitement bubbling within her. Let us do it. Let us turn this ranch into a place of joy, just like he wanted. With unwavering determination, Emma turned to her children, who were now gazing up at her, hope lighting their eyes. Are you with me? Always, Mom. Jacob shouted, striking a superhero pose. Let us paint the world. Lily added with a giggle, affirming their shared spirit. As the sun began to set, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple, they made their way back through the woods, a family bound together by love and a legacy reborn. The shadows faded behind them, replaced with laughter and the vibrant promise of transformation. They found the barn alive with chatter, neighbors arriving one by one, each ready to help Emma and her children reclaim their dream. With newfound strength, she stood on the threshold, seeing the ranch not as a spot of sorrow but a soaring symbol of resilience. Hi everyone, Emma called to the small crowd gathering in her yard, beaming with energy. We've got something incredible to share tonight. Are you ready to create a brighter future together? In unison, the community cheered, and with it came the burst of vibrant laughter and excited chatter. Emma felt a wave of warmth wash over her heart as she moved closer to the group, Henry beside her, bonding under the glow of shared dreams and a healing journey ahead. Together, as a family, friends, and community, they would transform the ranch into the haven John had envisioned, a tribute to love and a flourishing legacy. And in that moment, Emma smiled, her heart bursting with hope. The ranch was alive again, pulsing with dreams and the laughter of children. This is just the beginning, she whispered, each word resonating with promise, strength, and love. Now it's your turn to take action. You need to subscribe now to our channel so you never miss these incredible stories. Leave a like right this second to fuel the algorithm and keep the magic alive. Comment below how this ending made you feel. Every word means the world. And don't wait not even one more second to share this inspiring journey with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Real fans understand the importance of supporting the channel, so let us uplift one another together.